You had Broom. Broom said good morning. 2 hours later, Broom is dead over town, shot.
Gotham Investigations. We are here today not only talk about today's environment, our youth, but police officers and how hard it is out there to deal with today's society. We have Rene Whitehead, former commander of the City of Miami Police Department, retired as a major and also a 10th degree black belt. Rene, would you like to tell us a little bit about your martial arts background?
Yes, I'd like to start off by thanking you, Giordano, for allowing me to be a part of your podcast here to help put the information out there on the street. Yes, I'm a 10th degree black belt in Nishi-Goju-Ryu. I founded my own system, Rendo Goju-Ryu. I'm an 8th degree black belt, USKA Karate Association under Jumbo Chivas. Also, 8-time gold medalist with Police Olympics, USKA champion, 3-time Arnold Schwarzenegger karate champion, and have over 200 wins. My life is karate.
And those of you that might not know, I'm a martial artist as well, 3rd degree black belt in Kempo Karate, owned and operated a karate school in the Kendall area for about 10 years. And it's ironic that both of us are brought here together after, must have been at least 10 years, I would say.
Yes, sir.
Since we were separated, and we're brought together on a day that Chuck Norris, we just found, passed away. How ironic is that? Individual that changed a lot of youth in America, people that we admired and followed. And now here we are, brought together a day of such memorials, I would say. What do you think about Chuck Norris and his legacy?
Well, all my life I looked up to Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris, as a little kid, I admired him when he fought against one of our champions, Louis Delgado. Louis Delgado was the top fighter in the East in New York. Chuck Norris was the top fighter in the West. And you can pull it up on YouTube. That was the fight. I'm not going to tell you who won. But Chuck Norris was a great inspiration to me, not only as a martial artist, but as a person.
A lot of people out there think martial arts is just about kicking, punching, kicking ass type of thing, but it's also about getting respect in these kids, having them get a foundation in life. Tell us a little bit about the things you've done as a martial artist.
Well, I think you mentioned the word foundation. That's one of the first chapters in my book that I wrote. You Just Don't Know. We'll bring that up a little later. But foundation is very essential in the development. We deal with foundation in karate, making sure that they have a stable playing area, making sure that they know that obstacles will come in their life. And it's not just how you start in life, it's the choices you make in life. And that's what's karate about, giving kids direction and making the right choices.
Now, you've brought kids out of the inner city and brought them to places that they've never seen before and they never had an opportunity to see before.
I gave back just as Master Ruiz and Herbert Thompson gave to me. At 7 years old, I was like adopted by Grandmaster Frank Ruiz, and he gave what nothing could ever put back. I could not pay him back for it. So therefore, I'm giving back to the community. You have a lot of kids out here that never been 50 miles outside of where they live, and giving them the experience to see something different. I take 110 families to Disney World from different parts of the city. People ask me, Commander, why do you do that? Well, if you expose the human mind to new possibilities, it will develop creativity for new ideas. We got kids that don't know a difference. They learn and see what they every day. And if you teach them some difference, they'll be able to act in a different way and give them opportunity. Two things, the opportunity and the resources. That's what we need to provide.
And that's what people don't understand. Martial arts is not just to say, oh, you're in a school to make money. We give a lot back. We don't charge a lot of these kids that they can't afford it. A lot of these kids, they come from divorced families, and we give them a foundation and we give them a path in life to move forward. Now, one thing I admired about you all the time is you're an openly black male, correct?
Yes.
So one of the first on the police department. There's no doubt about it. You take pride in your race, your history, and that's one thing I've always admired about you. What is your vision today on racial profiling and everything that's going on? Do you think that that's an acceptable behavior, a must in today's society, that you should inject racial profiling in police work and ICE and everything else, being a former commander?
I think that we only need to tell people the truth. Uh, I don't look at racial profiling. I look at getting the job done. There's two things that you cannot see, and that's a person's intentions and their motives. And if you out here doing a job and your motives is correct and your intentions are great, then sometimes we use those things. We look at people that say, oh, this person here is not in the neighborhood. He's not from the neighborhood. He's not. We have arrested a lot of bad guys by that. 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 or 4 guys driving down the street, and it just don't look right. That's how our officers feel. And we feel that not what we see, but we feel it in our hearts that this is a bad situation. And when we have the Spirit tell us that in law enforcement, you have to act on it, just like not to go around that corner. I've heard a lot of times that some told me not to go around that corner, or pull your gun out, or watch these 2 guys stop in the car. So it's not racial profiling, it's instinct. I think it's mostly instinct.
And 100%, you're correct. And people say, no, you're targeting the Latin community, you're targeting blacks, but in reality, you're not. If there would have been, say, reverse racial profiling in South Carolina, that black church that the white supremacist went, he killed 9 people inside the church. That church hasn't, other than probably the picture of Jesus hanging on the wall, hasn't seen a white person in 10 years. See a white person in that neighborhood, you're going to snatch him up being a police officer because your instinct says, what the hell is this guy doing walking around here back and forth in front of a church?
And I think that's one of the another values that the martial arts has. It gives the kids an opportunity to understand that in karate, we don't have race. We don't have race. It's not an issue in karate. We only have belts. That's all we judge you by, the rank of your belt, but not race. And I think it gives the kids the opportunity to understand one thing. Hate is taught. It's taught just like karate. And love is taught too. And that's what we do in karate. We teach karate, and we teach how to love.
Yeah, so this getting back to racial profiling, karate belts, we see the color of the belt, not the color of the person that's there. And you own a gym as well, and you have like certain feelings that you have when people come in your gym.
And we have discussions in my gym, and the discussions get very heated because some people say black lives matter or something. All lives matter. All lives matter. In karate, we don't look at color, like I said. All lives matter. If you put a shirt on and you say white power, could you walk out there in the street?
I'll maybe make it to the shower, but if I go out there in the street, I don't think I will last that long. Probably get a rebuttal not only from black people out there, but from white people saying, hey, why are you wearing that? When, like you said, all lives matter. Now, right. You might find one of those individuals that are like, give you a fist or something like that, but those are people that you don't want to be around.
Martin Luther King, one of the greatest people that I could even think of, never said black power. He said we will walk together hand in hand. We will walk together hand. Now, I'm going to ask you one question. I know this your show. But name one person today that reminds you of Martin Luther King.
It's very hard because it seems like everyone takes a divided path in life.
They don't exist because leadership is dangerous. Leadership today, Kennedy, we killed him. Malcolm X, killed him. Martin Luther King, killed him. Everett, we killed him. So name, and I tell people, I challenge you, name one person that you could say, oh, this guy here is following the path. He's telling the truth.
Well, we had one. Charlie Charlie Crist.
And what happened?
They killed him. They killed him.
And it's incumbent upon all of us to make sure that we understand one thing. We need to learn how to agree, but most important, we need to learn how to disagree without you taking it personal. You don't have to agree with me. We could come to a middle on everything in life.
I mean, I really think we were on the right path. Like when Obama became president, I was out there at the inauguration and stuff, and I didn't see it as, oh, we're having a colored president. I think life was starting to settle down where you looked at it as, okay, let's see what he does as president. I didn't look at him as a black president. I looked at him as the next president of the United States of America. And since everyone seemed to be, okay, a society that's kind of like getting rid of racial profiling, racial beliefs, now comes all these riots and then the Black Lives Matter. It's like the people that are truly behind this are people that are trying to bring prejudice back into our society.
Everything we talks about is in the Bible already. Separation of people, the little individual groups, you know. But we need to understand that there's one thing that I know that the president brought into place, and that's Trump. He said, we'll bring God back.
And that's important.
That is important to all of us. We need to make sure, I don't care who said, whether it was a president you don't like or like, he said it. We need to bring God back. And God is needed in all of our lives.
Well, the path to righteousness it's there. It's just people have to follow it. They have to get back into their belief systems and not on a political agenda, and don't take political sides. Look at our youth, look at our grown-ups, and try to choose a path that you feel in your heart is correct, that you could help others. Time to get in someone's life is not when they're doing great. The time to get in someone's life and make a difference is when they're feeling down, and make them a better person.
Exactly. And one class I took, and this was at Harvard, Leaders of the 21st Century. The first thing they tell you is leadership is dangerous. You'll enter into a dangerous field.
Now, you have a daughter that's assistant chief now, correct?
Yes, yeah, Kiki. Yeah, she's assistant chief, City of Miami. And she calls me a lot and asks me questions and stuff like that. And she's very strong. She came up in karate. She was 8 years old. She was a champion for years. And she's using that direction and that guidance and that way of dealing with struggles on the police department. And she's doing very well. I'm very proud of her.
What advice have you given her?
I gave her advice that people don't want to hear the truth. A lot of times when you sit in a meeting and you're conversing and people ask you your opinion, just tell them that whatever they said is great. Because right now, if you tell people the truth, then they'll figure that you're going against them and they'll target you. And politics are dangerous. Politics is worse than an active shooter. I've seen a chief of police get demoted overnight and was put in the property compound on 12th Avenue and 20th Street, Chief Arms. You remember him?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
And he was the chief of police, and the next day he was demoted and is locked out of his office and was told, you go to the property bureau and work there. And the property bureau was 2 miles away from the station.
And people don't realize when you get up to the position of deputy chief, that's usually the death certificate. I don't think there's been a deputy chief that has made it to chief, because usually when there's a regime change, that's the first one they get rid of, is the deputy chief, thinking, okay, well, you're going to be giving information to this past chief because he thought enough of you to make you an assistant chief. When they're totally qualified people, they have the department running in the right direction, and then you just have politics take over.
Well, see, that's a word that don't exist no more, qualified. It's who like you now. It's who you know and you like. Facebook friends. That's what it is. It's not qualifications now. You got a lot of sheriffs that's in Georgia that's elected. So they're politicians. So if they're well known or they with the right church or they got the right congregation following, they become sheriff. It ain't because of what they do or what they have done. My thing is, when you're elected, I don't want you to tell me what you're going to do as far as being elected. I want you to tell me what you have done and you will continue to do after being elected.
One way to tell a individual who they are is, what is your past? Because business-wise, you meet somebody and they're going to do a lot of things for you, but what have they done for others? What have they done for his own family? And that's how you could tell how they're going to treat you as a business person as well.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
And unfortunately, the news media doesn't teach how to love. I believe last year we had 111, I believe it was, police officers that were killed. in United States, and that's actually 25% down of the previous year, because you see some change in the environment when you see all these riots and stuff out there going against police officers. All it does is create a false hatred environment for the police. You have, unfortunately, the young kids grow up. They don't look at police as heroes. The policeman is the one that goes to the house and arrests daddy on a domestic violence dispute, stops mommy, gives her a ticket, and the mommy starts cussing us out. There was over 300 police officers shot last year. Luckily, a lot of them survived. And you faced a lot of this throughout your career, where you actually wrote a book. Tell us a little bit about your experiences and what inspired you to write your book.
Well, I was a young officer. I was about 22 years old. I was on a motor squad, and we had Bill Craig get killed in the line of duty early one morning. We was at roll call. We heard the beep tone go out. This was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he was hit on Dixie Highway. We went to the hospital. Bill Craig was already deceased. They had him on a life machine for about 3 months. And for 3 months, being a rookie on the motor squad, I had the hospital detail. And I watched his wife every day, every single day there, talking to her husband, which he was not there. And I was at the door, and I watched that for 3 months. And I started to write, my book of what I saw, the strength that I saw in that woman, the love. Not only that time there, but it was others. Delion sitting on the side of me at roll call, 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock that night, Delion is in a coffin. You had Broom. Broom said, "Good morning." 2 hours later, Broom is dead over town, shot. We've seen this. William left the motor squad after being with Delion, witnessing his death. Bill Williams left motors for about 2 or 3 years, came back to motors, and he was killed on motors. We see this dark cloud all the time, and we have to make sure when we go home, we put on a mask. We put on a mask. And if we see kids shot or we see people shot, we put on a mask, because we can't take it home to our wives, to our kids. But we live it. I see these people. And I wrote a book because I don't want William's wife to ever be forgotten, the strength she showed, because there's other wives that has experienced it, and there's other wives that will. Whether you're in the military, you're in the police department, or you're in the fire department. That's just what we do. So we need to make sure that it's incumbent upon all of us to make sure we remember these people, and we honor these people and respect these law enforcement officers that come out every day and put their life on the line. And some of them may not make a decision that you may concur with, but you may understand that probably that day before or the day after that, he experienced something that might have him make that decision that you may not agree with.
And it's all about remembering these individuals, what they did for their communities, what they did for other law enforcement officers, the lives they saved as a police officer, not only in the community, but saving other officers' lives. Do you still keep in touch with some of these family members of the deceased?
Some of them, but a lot of them have moved on, remarried, and they really don't want to remember that dark cloud. But I put it in a book because I believe there's 2 phases of death. There's a physical death, and that's when the last person on this world died that knows you. And since this book is published, these people will never die the second time.
And the name of your book is You Just Don't Know. Has a photograph of you at 7 years old, a photograph of you in the martial arts, which is pretty intimidating. When you put on that bandana, I would definitely will not
my
want
trademark. Yes.
Get nowhere near you and wanted to compete against you. And a picture of you as a commander. You just don't know. So the picture of you at 7. Tell us just briefly about your childhood. What got you involved in the martial arts, and how did you change your life around?
Well, I'm gonna start off telling you about how I came to the conclusion of the title of the book. You Just Don't Know, because of what I saw in Bill Craig's wife. and every day leaving, going to work, we just don't know. We just don't know if we're going to make it back home. And I'm sure that a lot of officers' mind goes there when they're leaving in the morning, especially after attending a 4 or 5 hour funeral. We don't know who's next.
And it's not just in law enforcement. It could be your child driving to a party, driving to work that gets killed in a car accident. Could be a loved one that has a heart attack at any age. Doesn't have to be old age, a young age. And like you said, you just don't know when that last time is going to be that you see that individual.
And you know, Mr. Giordano, I want to touch on that for a second, because writing that book and titling it, You Just Don't Know, now it applies to everyone, not only to law enforcement. You don't know when your child go to school, because now the schools are targeted. You don't know if you go to church, the churches are targeted. You know, so it was a time when you knew that, oh, you putting yourself in harm's way.
You had a safe zone.
Safe zone. But all the safe zones now are not. The grocery store, active shooter.
Movie theaters, not. You go there to relax. Next thing you know, somebody comes in and shoots up the movie theaters.
Walmart, big time. So You Just Don't Know now has grown to cover every aspect of the world now. Starting off in karate, I was 7 years old. My mom had 5 kids. I came from Liberty City. The pork and beans, I moved from government projects to government projects. I stayed in the Canyon. That's where the government projects. I stayed in Lincoln Field. I stayed in the pork and beans. Each one was territorial. My master instructor had adopted me and took me in, and I stayed in New York for a long time, and I studied karate. I slept in the karate school. So I grew up at a fast pace, because when I got promoted to black belt means a dan. That means that you're a man or a woman. Q belts means that you're a girl or boy. You could be 40 years old in a Q belt. You're considered in karate a boy or a girl. And in karate, it really gave me the direction with the help of my mom. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for these people that contribute to me. I'm here today because I had help. And that's why I continue to help out there, because there's other Renes out there that's walking. There's other little Renes, male and females, that's out there walking that needs help, that needs get the direction, that need people in their lives that's going to help. Right now, society fears a lot because leadership is dangerous. Once you even deal with leadership, then you become a target.
And what's your definition of a true leader, being a leader yourself?
A leader, to me, is not hard as you could hit. It's as hard as you could take a hit. And if you're going to be a leader, you better be prepared to take a hit, because I've took a lot of them in my lifetime. And I became very strong, and I was built for it. And I see why people made me who I am today, because I think they envision that to me, to be put in the paper, to be said things bad about, to be did this, the allegations, to be this, that, and to stand strong and get a certificate of 34 years, honorable, never got a reprimand, never been late for work. I've been in the paper a lot, made allegations a lot, but I stood firm, because you only have one way to go when you're going through struggles and turmoil, is you continue to go forward. And I wrote the book, and it's in the book, everything. It's in the book. I had people that stand up and believed in me, and I must bring his name out, Chief Timoney. I don't care what was said. Chief Timoney believed in me, and God bless it, but I love Chief Timoney, and I thank him for allowing me to give back to the community as a staff member, and to go to Disney World with those kids and take hundreds of kids to Disney World and make a difference.
And the name of your book is You Just Don't Know, and I believe this is available on what, Amazon?
Amazon, yes, sir.
Amazon. So you can go to Amazon bookstore, order his book. If you are a policeman, this is a must-have book to appreciate not only police work, appreciate the others around you, and appreciate your family. Have your wives read it, have your kids read it. Rene Whitehead, I want to call you Major Whitehead or Sensei Whitehead. May the spirit of the martial arts burn within you and continue. God bless you, your family, and all your martial arts students. I look forward to visiting your school and attending one of your classes. And thank you so much. Gotham Investigations. Stay tuned and subscribe to our channel, or you might be the next one we investigate.